time. You're joining me. Please do tell me where you're watching me from, and also let me know your name. All right, I can already see that people are already here watching me. Hi, Rinye. Thank you for joining me. So, if you're just joining me for the first time, please, my name is Wendy Ologe. I'm going to do just a short introduction of myself so that you will know who you're talking to. All right. So my name is Wendy Ologe. I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy, and I'm also the author of 3 best-selling parenting books: Connect to Correct, The Discipline That Works, and From Yelling to Calm. All right. So many times when I see a lot of people throw lots of conversations in the group, I just say, oh yeah, okay, we have some new people here. All right, so thank you for joining me again. Every Tuesday, we are here live sharing on conversations, meaningful conversations that we learn from every day, and things that we want to know. Okay, so today we are sharing on yelling. Something very interesting happened. So we shared this particular group, right? This particular question on the group, and asked how many parents want to really learn, how to stop yelling and want to stop yelling really. And it was mind blowing. There were a lot of yeses. I know that a lot of the times, a lot of people argue and say, no, that's what we know. That's how we must do it. But I also know that somewhere deep down, we understand that there is a better way. So the point today is we're going to be learning, what are those other things that we can do. So if you're just joining me for the first time, please tell me where you're watching me from and tell me your name, right? Or just say, hi, I am watching you from so and so place. That will be really, really awesome to note. So please, where are you watching me from? And say hi. All right. So, welcome here again. So, we're looking at how yelling affects you, your children, and how you can begin to stop yelling. Yes, I know that a lot of parents desire, that's the word, desire to actually stop yelling, but many of the times we just wish it. All right. So, wishing it away is not enough. So, we're saying that you need to actually work towards it. Excuse me. You need to actually work towards it. Work towards it. All right. So please, I can see a lot of people already here. Please just tell me where you're watching me from. Say hi and tell me where you're watching me from. Hi, Emmanuel, sir. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Damilola. I can see a lot of people, just Nigeria, from Abuja, my baby. Thank you so much for being here. Moduak says he's watching me from Akwa Ibom. Woo, awesome. Thank you for being here. Hi, Tobe. Tobe, thanks for being here. We're going to hit the road rolling. Before we do that, if you're watching me on YouTube, I hope you're also part of our community right on Facebook. That community is amazing, right? Conversations come up from different angles and you're like, oh, wow, okay, and we learn daily there. All right. So, and that community, Facebook community, if you're also watching me from Facebook community, awesome. You are one of the best parenting Facebook communities ever you can think of. Yes, I didn't say that. Facebook did say that to us last year, that we were one of the most relevant parenting groups in Africa. And it wasn't just talk, right? That has led us to represent Africa on a global stage. Okay, so thank you for being here, and thank you for joining us. So today we're looking at yelling. I want you to answer these questions that we're going to ask now, right? Does your yelling fall short of getting the desired results? Okay. Hi, Olu, listening from London. Thank you for being here. Hi, peace. Right? Number one question you need to answer. Does your yelling fall short of getting the desired result. Remember, a lot of the times parents yell because they want to correct a certain misbehavior. If I'm correct, right? Tell me if I'm correct. All right. So we are yelling. The reason why we yell is because there's something our children, is doing, one particular misbehavior. And the next thing that comes to you is that you're ticked off, right? You just yell, boom, and you're just yelling, screaming, and all that. Now, let me say this. If this yelling does not get you the desired result, that's the number one question that we're asking. Does it get you the desired result? Do you find yourself yelling when you don't realize you're doing it? I'm taking this class from my book, From Yelling to Calm. I'm actually the author of that book, From Yelling to Calm, right? I will tell you how to get a copy when we're done. So I'm sharing a part of it with you so that we can strike a conversation. Do you find yourself yelling when you don't realize that you're actually yelling? You see yourself constantly yelling. Yeah, parents yell because they have got out of control themselves and think yelling will solve the problem. Thank you, Olu. Does your yelling make you get desired results? So that's number two. Do you find yourself yelling when you don't realize that you're doing it? Loud. Say something that comes easier than staying calm. All right. So you need to answer. Next, that answer is a yes. Please put yes in the comment section. So, do you yell more often than you like? Are you, yelling more often than you like? Hi, Chinyerobina. Are you yelling more often than you like? All right. So, if your answer to any of this is a yes, then you might actually be addicted to yelling. So this class is not a class to pass judgment on anybody. Yours truly have been there. I've been a chronic yeller myself. And that book that I wrote, From Yelling to Calm, was my work, my personal work, and how I was able to work from being a chronic yeller to becoming this calm parent that I am today. And one of the things that I say is that it is doable. We can all do it. And which is one of the reasons why I actually wrote that book in the first place. So this is not a conversation to say, oh, because you're yelling, you have become a bad parent. Nah, far from it. It is a conversation that we can all do better. All right? We can all do better. Okay. So the first thing that I want you to note is that many of the times people send messages. Many of the times, the conversations that go in here and the conversation and what we get from our private messages is a lot more interesting, right? So people say, oh no, I just need to yell and shout. You can't tell us not to yell. You can't tell us not to beat. What are you saying? Are you telling us not to beat people, not to beat our children? Are you telling us not to yell at our children? So what exactly are you saying? People say these things, I agree. But somewhere deep down in every parent's heart, they wish there is a different way. And what I'm teaching is a different way that I won't teach you what I've never practiced. Okay? Something that I have been able to do myself. And I have taught thousands of parents, not hundreds, thousands of parents in the last 2 years on how to walk away from being a yeller. So most times we actually get addicted to behavioral patterns. That's what happened. All right. We get addicted to behavioral patterns, especially when we are parented with those patterns. So a lot of the times what we fight are patterns, and I get it. So when I see a lot of conversations, with parents, I have lots of that, both in private and also in the group. And what I see are people who were parented a certain way, and it's difficult. It's difficult to break patterns. It's difficult to break additions. And we must understand, but the best place to actually start to begin to work on it is to agree that you need to work on it. I remember when I used to be a yeller, when you tell me, but you just yell, I say, I didn't even know you yell. No, that's not what I did. I fought it. So I've also been there. I fought it. I've said all sorts of things about it as well. So it's okay. We are all on a journey. All right. We are all on a journey. And as with many addictions, we don't even realize that we have become addicted to yelling. So most times yelling comes from our past. So it comes from our past of, like I said, how we were parented. So sometimes our parents cast spells on us. Those things. I say that parenting characteristics are reflective. A lot of the times things happen and we just go back and we say, I would never do this. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself doing exactly same thing that you said you were never going to do. Do you know what happens? It's as if, our parents cast spell on us, really. That's what happens. It's usually as if our parents cast a spell on us. But we call it, according to Daniel Coleman. Daniel Coleman is the person we call the father of emotions, emotional intelligence, right? He calls it emotional hijacking. So think about it. What are those spells that your parents cast on you? Like the stubborn one, the spell of yelling. What are they? When you yell, the thing about yelling is that when you yell, you may have all the good intentions there is. But the problem is that what your children hear could be something you didn't intend. Now, that's the challenge. The challenge is not just in the yelling, the challenge is in what is your child hearing as you yell. Now, that's a question that you need to answer, for yourself, because I won't be able to, right? So your intentions might be right, but intentions are not enough. I've said that severally. Intentions are not enough. So you can have good intentions, yet you won't be able to pass the kind of value that you want to pass to your child. So good intentions are not enough. So to your best intentions, you must add skills, you must add knowledge, and you must add grit. All right? I'm sure that a lot of people have heard me say this over and again. You can become addicted to shouting when you talk, because when you raise your pitch, it can activate dopamine. So dopamine is the reward hormone in the system, in the human system. So dopamine tells you that is exciting. So when you yell, you don't like it, but when you do it, there's this satisfaction you get from it. And usually I say that when you know what to do, you actually will not need to yell. That's the truth. So a lot of the times, people yell because they do not have alternatives. If you have alternatives and know exactly what to do per time, you will find out that you will actually not really yell. All right? So, like I said in the book, like I said earlier as well, this is not a judgment pan, right? This is a learning session. So, I know what it is like to believe that your child can only listen when you yell. I know that as I'm saying this now, a lot of parents are already saying what she's saying. I beg you. She does not have the kind of children that I have. Oh, my children don't listen except I yell. I've been there. I've said that before. I've been privileged to parent two teenagers, and I can tell you for free that I used to also say these things. I used to say, how can you say don't yell? But at some point on my journey, as a parent, I realized that there was something better for me to do. I realized that it wasn't enough for me to keep arguing that yelling was the solution. I knew that there was a better way. And that was actually what led me to this journey. Because fortunately or unfortunately for me, I was presented with an opportunity to parent a teenager as a new mom. So it was a crazy thing for me. So I've been there. I prayed so that I can find solution. I did all sorts until I found the right knowledge on what to do per time. Nothing changed. All right, nothing changed. I remember recently, like I told this to our alumni group when I was, teaching them about knowing what to do. I remember that one of those days I had gone somewhere to actually, I think, buy fuel or something, and then I was cheated. I knew exactly what to do. I didn't go jumping up and down. I knew who to call. I knew what to do. And when I did, everything took shape. People didn't hear my voice. I didn't need to because I knew exactly what to do. So when you know what to do, it's easier for you to walk your way through. I know what it's like to feel like you are alone. Oh, when you yell, you have failed. No. Even when we do this, the no yelling challenge that we do in the academy, we find out that it is a journey. It is a journey. I realized that it took me years to get to the point where my children would do something and I have full control. It took me years. It didn't take me 1 year. So when we are thinking, while we are thinking that something must be hard for it to work, no, I want to say this again. It must not be hard for it to work. You must not exert power for your parenting to work. A lot of people have reached out to me to ask me how I got my 10-year-olds to cook. It's not by yelling, it's not by hitting, it's by intentionally teaching and being patient. I don't know so many 10-year-olds in this generation that can do a lot of things my 10-year-olds can do. But I know so many parents who are insisting that they need to yell and hit their children, yet they are not really actually teaching the right values that should be taught. So beyond the, oh, we just need to, oh, correct, kill them, do this and all that, we need to understand that a lot of these things are, a process, right? And understand that if you commit to teaching value, then you will have to commit to actually learning how to most effectively do it. Now, a lot of us were yelled at growing up. I don't know if you were not yelled at growing up. My mother never yelled at me, but my father did. All right, so I'm also one of them. So if you were yelled at, just put on the comment section, just say yes, 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 yes. I know that we are many on this table, right? And I know that a lot of us never liked, to be yelled at, right? For a lot of us, it's just something engraved in us, right? So it's a circle, but it's a circle that you can break. Yeah, I can see lots of yeses. I know this. All right, I know it. I know it. I know that it's a big deal, right? It is a really big deal where we all were yelled at, and of course, where we are right now, we all think that that's the best thing to do for our children. But I tell you, that is not the best thing to do for your child. Right. So let us get right there. The first step to stop yelling is to taking responsibility. You see the argument that we all do, we're all shouting, arguing, no, it's a lie. What is Wendy saying? She's forcing us to be intentional. You know the truth. Everything I'm telling you. I've been there where I also argued, just like ignorance is bliss. I've been there where I was so ignorant and I was blissful in it. Trust me. It was so blissful to be ignorantly arguing and shouting, no, it has to be hard. Because we were taught that if something is not hard, it's not done by force, there's no result. But that's not true. That's not true. There are a lot of things that we can do, having result, being calm. Calmness is a skill. Is not a gift. Yeah, some people are gifted with calmness. Yes, very few people, but really, it's a skill. It's a skill that you need, and on your parenting journey, it is something that you need to actually, get. So it is a skill. All right. So yes, we're here. The first thing for you to do is to take responsibility. I want to break this circle today. Your number one thing to do is, I want to break this circle. So if you want to break this circle of yelling today, let me see your comment. Let's see, just put yes, yes, I want to break the circle, yes, or yes, whatever it is that you want to write. Like I said, I have been there. So there's nothing, we are here to learn. And the only thing that I'm doing is for me to take you from one step to another to show you that there's these things can be done a lot more better. You know, in Nigeria, we believe that, if for instance, when you go to the, I've seen a lot of the times where you are in the airport, all right, and you're sitting, maybe your toddler is running around, your toddler is just, everywhere. And then, you know that the typical Nigerian parents or Nigerian community expects you that you have to yell for you to claim that you're a good parent. Sometimes we even yell just to please people. We yell just so that people will say, yes, he's such a good parent. Look at the way he handled this. Oh, look at the way he handled this child. Oh, you're just so good. You know the truth. It's neither here, it's nothing. These are just expectations people push us to the world to parent the way that we shouldn't even. All right. I'm going to tell you why you need to stop yelling. All right. And I said the first thing to do is for you to take responsibility. It is never going to just change. You can share this post. I can see people tagging people. You can share this. You can share the video with your friends and family so that they can watch. So when it comes to yelling, breaking the circle is a deliberate thing. My father was a chronic yeller. I want to see whether my mom is here because she always comes to watch me on Tuesdays, yeah. And I'm sure my dad is usually by the side watching with him, but he knows. My father was a chronic yeller, and I swore never to yell. But you know what? I found myself when I started my parenting journey screaming. I don't think many people actually have yelled like I do. If you know me really before my journey, you understand that this has nothing to do with teaching you perfection. This is me and my journey, right? So we must get committed to stopping this. So I can see lots of yeses. Thank you for your sincerity, for saying yes that you want to actually break this circle. It is a responsibility to take, and it's a circle. What happens is that you groom yellers, your children become yellers, everybody begins to yell, and yelling, just runs through. So I just found out that it was something I could break. I decided to be the generational transitor. I decided to be the person who will break it in my generation. So I'm not passing yelling from one generation to another. Many parents are victims. So that's why they victimize their children. Many parents are victims. Oh, the people saying that they cannot share on their wall, I don't know, maybe because it's a closed group, you can just add your friends or tag them, they will be able to see here. But when you're on YouTube, you will be able to share. Many parents are victims. So they victimize their children. We must begin to learn parenting skills to understand about yelling. And we were saying that when it comes to yelling, it is something that you must decide that you want to deal with, over time. Okay? So what programs have you installed? So a lot of the times people complain that their children become yellers. All right. So most people, complain that their children, become yellers at the end of the day. So, okay, still give me a minute. This is joining me for the first time. Please. Okay, so I think the first video went off on our Facebook channel, and we will try to reconnect now. We can see what went wrong. All right. So we'll just continue streaming and hoping that this comes up later. Okay, someone says I'm back now. Oh, all right. Thank you for that. Someone says I'm back now. All right, thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, so we were saying that many of us were victims. That was why a lot of the times what happened to us happened, right? So we were just victimized. We had a lot of things that happened. Okay, he said good now. Okay, good. All right, great. Sorry if you missed any part, please join in. All right, please join in. So we shared the post how you program your children. When it comes to programming, it is about the things that you put in your children. Really, that's what programming is about. So many times we say things like, it's the children, but really it's not the children. When you think about it, it's not really the children. The problem is that, we've gotten to a point where we are, we're created to yell, or sorry, not created, we are programmed to yell, and we think that that's the only solution that there is. No, that's not the only solution. There is more. There are a lot of things that you can do, all right, instead of just yelling. So imagine that as soon as you arrive, the first thing you do, a lot of the times that happens, the first thing you do is to pounce on your children. And then you begin to scream all over, you begin to say a lot of things and all that. And a lot of the times you're wondering, okay, why is this, why is this so? So as parents, we're quick to say, my children did not learn this from me. But take a second look at yourself again. When you take a second look at yourself again and think about this, your emotions management will affect the way your children will navigate their own emotions. So emotions coaching and mastery on your journey is key. That's one of the things that will help you to be able to learn calmness. All right. The truth is, your child is not the reason you yell. You are the reason, and you are the solution too. You are the solution. All right. So think about it when your child makes poor decisions. For instance, like breaking the frame in the home or breaking the glass. Your first reaction is usually to yell, a frustration, anger, disappointment. These things are okay. It doesn't mean that you are bad, right? It means that you are okay. Okay? So it only means that everything seems all right. So the first thing that you need to understand is that there are effects of yelling on a child. Every child has degree, all right? There are things that we do. Okay, Tobe. Yes, there are things that you do. Many parents tell me that it's not possible to talk to a child calmly without yelling because they will not hear you. I don't understand it. How can you say it's not possible that the children don't hear you? We hear that a lot of the times. But the truth remains that the children actually really do hear you. The children actually really do hear you. The problem usually is that we do not know, how to speak to them the way that they can hear you. And, when you say no, they don't hear, it's also because you have wired and raised them to respond to only yells and shouts. You have wired and raised them to respond to only yell and shout. There's no such thing as a perfect child. It doesn't exist. Please, let's get this right. It doesn't exist. Anything that you hear me share about my own children, my children are not perfect. There are times where I am pushed to the point where I just want to say, as in I'm just pushed. But because I have learned to stay calm in the face of these things, it has helped me, over the years. All right. So you must begin to pay attention to the things that you say to your children, especially when they are upset or when you are upset yourself. So think about things that you're saying. So you need to understand that the link between verbal abuse and anxiety, it's very, 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 very deep. Someone told me recently how the words of her dad destroyed her as a young girl. And she said her dad kept shouting and it kept ringing in her head, and that was it. Now she didn't really survive that whole, setting. That it was pretty bad. So children perceive shouting as a threat to their sense of security, a threat to their safety, and also confidence. So long-term exposure to shouting can result to fear. Your child will become afraid. Many of the times I tell people that authority is not fear and control. Authority is respect and trust. Authority is respect and trust. Please, okay, yes, Basi, yes, there's a replay on YouTube. Yes, there's a replay on YouTube. Authority is not fear and control. Authority is respect and trust. If you're watching me, you can always catch replay of this session on our YouTube channel. So, sorry again for the interruption. So shouting at your child so that you can instill fear in your child is not you instilling authority. The truth is, it only means that you actually have lost authority. If you need to shout on your child consistently to be able to pass your message, then there is a problem. There is a problem with your parenting, and you have to look at that. Another thing is that it creates anxiety. Everybody's anxious. There's anxiety everywhere. Stress, insomnia, developmental delays, because it's been said that shouting actually affects the brain. So yelling can be as bad as physical abuse, and it can get worse. Now, the problem with yelling is that it comes, with compounds. It compounds the problem, right? It's not just the loud voice that is the challenge when it comes to yelling. It's not just the loud voice. It's also the body language. It's also the actual words that we're using. And many times people tell me, no, I can just beat my child, and I can just shout. I know what I'm saying. The truth is, the anger emotion loses you at a certain point, at a point, right? I remember one of the parents reaching out to me, that was some months ago, and saying, do you know that I saw myself throwing a hot pot at my son? She said if they had told her that she thought that she had her emotions under control, that she could ever do such a thing, she would say is a lie. So many times we actually think we're in control, but we're not. We're being ruled by emotions. Yeah, somebody is saying, is it possible that you don't yell at all? Yes, very, 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 very possible. It is very possible that you decide that you're not going to raise your voice. Now, this is where the issue is. When we say yelling, there is a yellow meter. There's a yellow meter when it comes to yelling. So there's yelling, we have the yelling voices from level 1 to 7. The moment your voice goes over the 3rd level, you are yelling, you're yelling to the point where it might affect your child. Now, until you actually see the yellow meter and see what the voice is and how it goes, that's when you now understand, okay, am I really using the level 7 voice? But I tell you for free, many times parents are using the level 7 voice. So there are levels 1 to 7. There are times where your voice gets to the level 4. And in the times where your voice gets to the level 4, you will know that you are gradually beginning to pass the line, which is why we were able to actually put the book together, From Yelling to Calm, and also put the No Yelling Challenge. So in the No Yelling Challenge, we walk you through these stages. So these stages help you to understand these voices, so that we are not, just putting these things, out like that. It helps you understand these voices, and it's the voices that actually determine, where you are, and you're able to question yourself. I use this system for myself for a long time, until I got to a point where I'm able to stay on a level 3 consciously. And when I get to a level 4, it is because I chose to. But I've never seen myself on level 5 in a very long time. I've been able to move away from that. So yes, it is possible for you to go through this. All right. So the problem with yelling is that it comes with, like I said, a lot of compound problems. Shouting is largely ineffective. It never gets the message across. It never gets the message across. Because when you shout, your children are very busy defending themselves. Just imagine, I'm sure that's what happens in your home. You're shouting, your children are saying, no, it's not me. Oh, everywhere is, going gagas. Everywhere is going mad at the same time. And the truth is, that's not effective. So your children are not really listening to what you're saying. So imagine that you're correcting your children. So what they are actually doing at that point is trying to defend themselves and wriggle out of whatever it is you're accusing them of. So it's a total miss point. Both you and the children, miss the point. Now, don't get me wrong. We're all humans, and sometimes we sleep. But intentionality makes you understand that you can and you can fix it. All right? You can and you can fix it. Okay? So that's one thing that you need to know. So just know that shouting is like a human fire alarm. When you have to shout, it means that there's a problem. It's like a fire alarm. So when your voice goes up, it's like, whoa, 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 okay. You know how fire alarms are? That's what shouting is like. It's like a fire alarm. Research has shown that there is adrenaline for fear, when being shouted at. It limits the thinking capacity of your child. When your child is being shouted at, you shut down. You're shutting down the thinking capacity of that child at the time when you're screaming at the child. So the child cannot really, really think. Now, another thing that can happen is that yelling can affect how your child's brain develops. Yelling can affect how your child's brain develops. Have you ever heard that this can happen? Definitely, but not in the good way. But really, when you look at it, it looks like raising children without raising a voice is inevitable. No, it is very, very possible. Fear is one of the primary and universal emotions. So it centers on the primitive part of our brain, all right, called the amygdala, all right? And when the child's brain is programmed with fear coming from different episodes of yelling, this amygdala will become overactive, and this begins to inhibit the child's brain from working on higher functions. This begins to inhibit the child's brain from working on higher functions, like concentration. So this affects concentration. This affects reflection. All right? This affects reflection. This affects learning. This affects decision making. And this affects behavior planning. All right? So it rewires the brain of the child. Let me use that word. It rewires the brain of the child when you yell. So I've seen many times when parents reach out to me and say, oh, how do you deal with morning rush? How do people, when you're in the morning, you're rushing out, to go to school, and the children are not dressing up and all that, how do you deal with that? Simply, I've said, in this place, that yelling and all these things can actually affect concentration. All right. So the thinking process is inhibited, and a lot of these things begin to decline. Now, the first thing that your children get to do in the morning is being shouted on, that child will have issues learning. Yes, that child is going to have issues learning. We've been privileged to work with a lot of schools, and many of the times you hear parents say, when there is problem at home or when there were shoutings in the house, you find out that a child becomes quiet in school and the child is lost. So instead of creating an environment every morning where the child have to struggle before they get to school, we teach that you can create a setting where you don't need to make your home agitated in the morning. Even when I didn't know a lot of the things I know now, my home does not have the shoutings in the morning. Please, it's something that you will also need to think about, because that also does a lot for your child. So your aim, although when you yell, your aim is to gain control. That's your aim. I understand that. But unfortunately, yelling actually makes you lose control of your behavior. And by that, you are constantly unable to manage what you are expressing. You're constantly unable to manage what you're expressing. So you do not have control, really. While you're thinking that you have control, you actually do not have control. You definitely don't want your child's brain to develop abnormally. And at the same time, you can't help it. Yes, I know that. I read your mind. You can't help it. It's tough, because we just don't want to, keep yelling or keep not, doing this thing. So apart from what yelling does to your child, let me get to you. Yelling actually raises your blood pressure. It raises your heart rates and your adrenaline levels. People who yell, all right, People who yell exhibit higher levels of stress hormone, that's cortisol, in their bloodstream over time. So apart from what it does to the child that you're raising, this is also what it does to you as a parent who is raising this child. The truth is, you are going to continue yelling if you never understand why you are yelling at your child and that you can deal with it. Why do we yell? Let me see in the comment section. What exactly are the reasons why we keep yelling? What are the reasons why we keep yelling? When a child misbehaves, right? Let's see. Please share. When a child misbehaves, when a child is not listening, when a child is being told what to do and they're not doing it, what else? You can please share more. All right. Let me say this. If you find out your child has just misbehaved or done something wrong, it's okay for you to be angry. Don't get me wrong. It is okay for you to be angry. So don't go back and say, oh, so that's how she taught us that when a child does something, she should not do anything. If you know me personally, I am my home is not a place where you can just do whatever it is that you like. No. The fact that I don't hit and I don't have to yell, to make my point, I don't have to jump. It doesn't have to be hard. And I've taught my children that over years. It doesn't have to be hard. All right? It doesn't have to be hard. Yeah. When a mother is stressed out, yes, I can see that. To gain control over the child, that's the word. That's one of it. When a particular behavior keeps persisting, exactly. So you keep yelling. You keep yelling and you keep trying to. When a child is not responding appropriately, you just want to yell. Normal. So that's why I said that. So don't take it out on yourself and say, oh no, these things have stopped yelling yet. It's still happening. All right. Yelling stems from the need for control. It's also a form of verbal aggression. So a lot of the times, a lot of parents are aggressive verbally. So they use yelling. Cover up a lot with yelling. What happens when your child? Let me paint a scenario. Your child pours water, for instance, on the floor. Instead of you to say no, please take a mop. Go back and go and mop that place. And this is how you must do it. We yell. Why must you pour water here? I have told you several times. Why must you pour water? The child is not, and tomorrow you will yell again. And you know the worst thing that happens? We substitute the consequences for what should happen to our children with yelling. So what we now do is that we take the mop. I have told you. I have told you. I have told you. I need to mop. You should not be pouring. Somebody's asking a question. Sorry, I will answer that later. You should not be pouring, things on the floor. I've told you, don't pour things on the floor. Then you take the mop, you clean. The child hasn't learned anything. That in fact, the child has learned that when they make mistakes, their parents will take the consequences. Boom. That's what you're teaching the child. So instead of the child learning that these mistakes are mine and I need to own it, instead of us teaching that, we substitute it with flogging and yelling. Let me tell you, when you flog and yell, what happens is that you feel more guilty. Am I speaking your mind? If I am, please write in the comment section, yes, yes, yes. You feel more guilty, right? You feel more guilty and say, maybe I've already beaten the child now. Why will I now say the child should still can't do it? I'm beating the child. Your child haven't learned anything. But if you're able to get these things under control, you are able to really let the child own their process. And the child will learn what consequences for whatever behavior is. So we are substituting a lot of the consequences the children should have had with our yelling and our beating, because we do not know what else to do. Now, yelling, I said yelling stems from the need for us to control. A lot of people say, if I yell at my children, they won't listen. Research points out that yelling makes children more aggressive, physically, verbally. More aggressive, physically, verbally. Yelling in general, no matter the context, is an expression of anger. No matter the context you want to put it. It scares children and makes them feel insecure. The good news is you can reprogram this pattern. That's the good news. You can reprogram this pattern. It's possible to reprogram it. I shared earlier, I don't know if the people who were with me in the last, while we were still streaming, I shared earlier and I said, if you want to break this generational circle and begin to actually do something differently, then you want to do something more, right? So the good news is you can reprogram it, but it's a skill. So you must learn it. It's not something that you wish. It's not something that you wish. So if you find yourself, constantly yelling, and you have looked at some of the things that we have shared here, and it's something that you want to, work on, and you want to, be worked with to be able to also work on it, then two things. I'm going to proffer two solutions. So for all the classes that we stream live, we always like you to take away something, right? Number one, I said take responsibility. Number two, you will need to look for how to substitute your yelling. Now, life does not encourage vacuum. When you say, I will not yell, your children will just go haywire because that's what you know. So what else do you know that you can substitute that yelling with? What else can you do instead of just screaming? All right? Are we saying that you should not address misbehaviors because you shouldn't yell? No. Please don't become permissive and come back to us and say that, oh, that's how Wendy told us that we should not. No, that's not what Wendy is saying. I am saying that you can use other better ways to pass your message without having to scream and shout all over. Yesterday, a parent reached out to me and they had started for the records. If you do not have the guides, please get copies of the guides, work on it. If you have some things in place, you won't have to yell so much. That's the truth. For instance, I was sharing the other day with a group and I said, I can't remember the last time I have cooked because my 10-year-olds understand how to navigate, in that setting. Did I achieve that by screaming and yelling and beating them? No, I didn't. I just used the value system that we have in our home and created a system, all right, that you can use. So some of the substitutes you can use is to, number one, create the kind of values you want to have in your home and begin to instill it. Now, when we say create the kind of values you want in your home, it is something you need to do deliberately. You need to, it's not something you just say, oh no, I know that in my house, we don't do this. Does your children know? That's why we share that guide. Please get a copy and share create that value for your family. That copy of the guide helps you create the family value, your mission, your vision, and the taglines. So it's easy to call your children to order to say things like, but in our home, this. So you have words to speak. You're not just saying things that are just empty. You're not just saying, don't you know, and shouting all over. No. If your children understand some of these values, they have been able to, say it around the home. They understand the mission of your home. Last week, I shared on why you must create a mission in your home, a vision. Every family must be, must look at a structure. If you do not have a structure in your home, you're going to yell till forever. It's going to continue. Trust me, no matter what it is that you come and learn, structures are key. So the first thing you want to do is to get a structure. All right. So the family value guide helps you put a structure together to create this, this stuff. Yes, the values. Somebody said, what is the guide you are referring to? That's the family values guide. It's a guide that we created for parents so that they will be able to structure their own guides, their own family values in the way that it suits their home. Create a mission, create a vision in their home in a way that it suits their own home. So we created a guide and also templates that you can print out that can help you. Last week we launched we launched that guide, and he helped us, to be able. He helped a lot of parents were able to get it at a discounted price. Unfortunately, that promo is gone. But another thing that you can also do, that's number 2, is that you can list out your triggers, right? List out what are the things that make you exactly. What are the things that make you yell? Some of those things that make you yell are the things that are your triggers. I'm tired, I'm angry, I'm this, and all that and all that. These are some of the things that you want to put down and begin to look at how you can restructure it. I don't know how you'll be able to put down the triggers and then begin to work towards it, not to find yourself in those places. But one of the things that can also help you do that is to get a copy of From Yelling to Calm. From Yelling to Calm states in steps how you'll be able to put that together. That book is 2,000 naira, is an e-copy, but for today, just for today, you can get it at 1,500 naira, just for today only. So you can say, if you want it, you can say yes, and then we'll chat you for you to get a copy. That's number 2. Another thing you can do, if you want us to help you walk through your journey on our 15 days, the family value guide, not the media guide. We have the family value guide, we have the family media guide, and we have the family meeting guide. These guides helps you put structure in your home. All right. And if you want us to help you walk you through the journey on our 15 days no yelling challenge, you can join us. That challenge lasts for 15 days. It starts on the 1st of September. You can join us to walk through that journey. We can walk you through it, practical times. In that challenge, we will share with you what those yelling pointers are and how you'll be able to recognize them. And when you begin to go off, how you can chat through your own system and know that, okay, I really want to walk through this whole thing. So we will help you see that. We will help you create alternatives, right? That you can also, so many other alternatives. Time will not permit me. I'm almost running out of time. I have a class in a few minutes. Create alternatives that will help you also begin to run, right? Alternatives that will help you begin to create a system where you don't need to, keep yelling, right? So we are going to also be able to give you that in those days. This no yelling challenge usually it's for 15,000, but we saw a need and we decided that we're going to do another promo on it. So instead of 15,000, we say do 5,000 and register within 48 hours, and then you can now become part of the no yelling challenge. Either way, either of these things that I have shared can help you. So you can see that you have an array of solutions. So going through the no yelling challenge is like the handheld, the academy is going to hold you and then put you through that. And then if you're going to pay for the no yelling, you will not need to buy the book. I'm going to be gifting everybody who walks into the no yelling challenge a copy of the book From Yelling to Calm. And also, after you finish the challenge, it means that you have taken a course in the academy. So that gives you access and entry into the Academy Alumni. The Academy Alumni is our amazing platform for everybody who have ever gone through our courses. And in that platform, there are lots of stuff to learn. For instance, on Thursday, I'm also going to be teaching people in the Academy Alumni how to use this same value guide to be able to restructure and recreate the value system in their home. So these are some of the things that we teach, for people in the Academy Alumni. There are some things, the truth is there are some things that we cannot teach, here time won't permit us. We have a lot, that goes into the Academy Alumni, a lot that we also create as regards, the challenge. So the challenge, all you need to do for the challenge is to just pay 5,000 naira and send a chat to the number that you have in the description. So as soon as you do that, you are able to enroll. The challenge starts on the 1st of September, but this promo for you to get into the challenge for 5,000 naira, it's only in 48 hours. After 48 hours, we will pull it out. It's no longer available. then that means you now get to pay 15,000 for the challenge. That's the cost of the challenge. But one thing that I want to assure you is that on this challenge, you will be able to, be guided, walk from one stage to another to the next. And then we don't just leave you alone to say, oh, you've done the 10 days yearning challenge, so you can now just go ahead and do what you can do. All right. Yes, all our courses are all online. And the Knowing Challenge is also, we have video sessions, we also have one-on-one sessions, and all that. So it will help you be able to move from that chronic care. Like you see visible results. Everybody who has ever taken the Knowing Challenge will tell you, you see visible result by the time you do 2 days, you do 3 days, you begin to see that, okay, this thing is also doable. And then we also, give you the book so that when you go back to it, you will now begin to, when you go back, you finish the challenge, you can go back to the book because the challenge, details, some of the details also are contained. So you'll be able to walk yourself through everything that you have learned, right? And then begin to practice gradually. I can assure you, in 6 months, you see visible. Your children will testify because usually the children tell the parents that something has changed. So usually the testimonials we get on the No Yelling Challenge is usually, so my children said that in the past 2 months, I haven't been shouting. So you can actually deal with this. So you can either get the family value guide, create a family value system, follow a structure, put it together, walk yourself through a challenge. You can do that. There's no hard and fast rule, right? All right, if you know what to do. You can also just get the book. Like I said, in 24 hours, you get it for 1,500 naira. You can get a copy, read it, and begin to put into practice whatever it is that you read. And you can still have your result from there if you're diligent. You can also get to our No Yelling Challenge, which starts on the 1st of September for 15 days. You're going to be walked through all the things that you need to do, as regards, this challenge, as regards yelling. The only advantage, the 2 advantages of being in the No Yelling Challenge is that it means that you're going to join the Academy alumni where you have access to different sessions with us, and you are also going to also have access to our to the book that is also, that you can also get up there. So if you want to join any of this, or you want any of the copies of the guide or the challenge or anything, thank you, Tobe. Tobe just shared the account number. If you want to join, this challenge is 5,000 naira in 48 hours. After 48 hours, we'll pull it out and it goes back to the normal price, which is 15,000 naira. This challenge is going to be online. All our courses are online. It actually holds on www.theintentionalparentacademy.com. We have an array of courses. You will also want to check it out if you want. And then that's it. And you'll be able to actually take it. We follow through. And like I said, we don't just give you access and say, just go and do what you need to do. One of the things that we also do is that we follow through with everything that you're doing. And it will be our great pleasure to welcome you in the academy, to be able to work with you and begin to show you how you can actually quit yelling for good and begin to substitute with a lot of other things that you can, work with. So the first thing that you want to take away today is that, number 1, you need to take responsibility for not yelling. Number 2, you can work on your yelling by doing any of the 3 solutions that we provide. Or, like I said, you can also start by, after taking responsibility, you begin to identify your triggers and begin to put a lot of things in proportion and begin to session and say, what can I do now? What can I do later? All right. I saw some questions. I'm going to be looking at the questions so that we can look at it. All right. I can see a lot of people saying they want to be in the course. I'm going to share details with you. So if you have any question, please, do share. We will answer. Let me look for, yes, take responsibility, have substitute for learning, find a better way to deal with misbehaviors. And one of the better ways that we say is that you can deal with misbehaviors in your home is to create structures. Structures are key. A lot of the things that don't happen in my home is because there are structures in place to help my children understand a lot of the things that we are saying. So your structure on your journey will help, this. Why is there no value volume when watching after videos? Oh, so sorry about that. I don't know what you're talking about. Priska, maybe you can help me ask again. All right. When I have a short time frame to do something and my kids are taking their sweet time, oh, okay, these are all the conversations. Oh, somebody said flogging. How does a parent raise a hyperactive child? If you don't yell, can we flog? Chituru, I see you. All right. So one thing is TIP does not. No matter how much we put up the conversation, there are better ways. I don't encourage anybody to hit anyone. The truth is, the same thing that you're hitting a child for, you can find a better way to deal with it. If you're able to find this, that you say hyperactive child, when you say hyperactive, what do you really mean? Is it that the child is a kinesthetic learner? If your child is a kinesthetic learner, there are ways to handle a kinesthetic learner. You don't need to flog the child for your child to actually. I have a very active kinesthetic learner of a son. Yes, he does everything and he's able to put himself together. So it all depends, on what tool I will advise for a teacher who is looking for what other ways. There are many other ways. I shared in the discipline that works. You can get a copy, read. I shared 10 tools that you can use in substitute to flogging. Please, all right? You can get that, all right? What are the indicators for these levels of yellow meter? The indicators are different, right? The indicators are in the tone of voice. The indicators are in the level, in the pitch, and then you also have and the things that you say, right? So your body language. You know that I shared earlier that beyond just screaming, there's the body language that comes with it. There's also the fear that is being exhibited. All right. So if you have if you have a copy of From Yelling to Calm, you will see the yellow meter actually stated in From Yelling to Calm. So if you have a copy, you will be able to see the yellow meter and read through all that you are looking at. When it comes to yelling, should I yell at this level? Where am I? At a particular level, you are able to determine where you are per time, and you are able to actually put up control. And you can chat it. You can chat, your control system. All right. Okay, you want the book? Okay, that's fine. Hadassah, we're going to send. I'm going to respond to this so that you will be able to get details. All right. I'm guessing that Tokwe already shared. So please, if you want any of the things that I've shared, and look at my screen. I've just shared this the account number, and then you can also send the WhatsApp chat to me. All right. In case you're watching me from YouTube, these are the details. All right. I'm still looking for the questions that are coming. How do we get the family guide? You can get the family guide. You can reach out to me, or you can just look at this system. Pay a family guide. It costs just 1,500 naira for each of the guides. We'll have 3 different guides. It depends on which one you want. We'll have a family media plan that helps you to plan the media in your home. A lot of times people are complaining, oh, the government is not censoring. Oh, the truth is that you need to start from your home to begin to censor. So the family media plan, and if you're planning to give your child a gadget, I already shared on that. Please get the family media plan. Plan what should happen before you give your child a smartphone, a gadget, whatever. All right. Then you can also get the family value plan. All right. The family value plan is the plan where you will be able to create the value that you want in your home. What kind of value system you want to see in your home? What is obtainable in your home? What should you be doing, per time? All right. So, and then it helps you create the mission, the vision, the tagline. That it helps you put structure. Then we have the family meeting guide. The family meeting guide helps you create a system where you can reiterate these meetings, so to say, where you can reiterate these values, where you can put the values together. All right. It just gives you a structure to be able to do that. If you're able to do it on your own, that's fine. But all we have done in the guide is just to guide you to be able to create these things. All right. And then also share template with you so that you will be able to create these things that we're saying easily without having to really bug yourself. All right. How much is all the guides? All the guides will cost you 4,500 naira if you want all the guide. All right. So you can see the system, and that gives you access. As soon as you make that payment, you can send a chat to the number with your proof of payment, and you get your guide the same time and the same day. All right. I'm still looking for questions. Still looking for the questions. All right. I've answered the question. On flogging. And apologies again for the hitch. I know the people on Facebook actually had a lot of issues, on the hitch. And that will be replayed right here on our Facebook, on our YouTube channel. So if you want to get all the things that there's a replay, all right? And if you're just replaying, you can share, tell me where you're watching from, or if there's anything that you also want us to share more about on this particular content, we can also do that for you. Thank you again for joining me. I really do appreciate every one of you for joining me here. If you are just coming in for the first time, we apologize for the hitch. Thank you again and again and again. All right, so see you again during the week we have some sessions with some guests, and on Tuesday again when we'll come again for this session. Have an amazing evening. In case there's any other question, I guess we'll respond to that right after this session, and then we'll be able to give you the answers that you require. Oh, okay. I think I saw another question. What happens to the other values when you select some? I have a family value guide. Okay, Angela, if you didn't get that question, you can send me a chat, please, so that we can deal with that. Thank you for being here, everybody. Please, if there are further questions, you can send me a chat, or you can please chat here, and then I will respond to you. Thank you.